You can see at first glance that this looks a lot different than what the Viper4 software traditionally has looked like with the accordion. Um, so this is a new facelift of the Viper4 ROS operating system coming in with the 23.1 software. So kind of starting out through the navigation, you'll notice in the left-hand corner of the page, we have what they call a hamburger. This is going to be where all of your main information that was at the top of the page when you'd hit administrator, it's going to be that common, hey, hit the administrator page if no one's created a user profile. Um, you hit that administrator tab or that hamburger, and it's going to bring you into this menu right here. Very similar to what we had before. Your normal, you go to System Manager, the layout's going to look the exact same. You'll notice here that our software version is 23.1. The software version that we'll be sending out here for beta is going to be 23.1.0.17. The software can, um, the revert to last will go back to the previous version that this was on, was a 22.2. So all that functionality works just the same. You'll have also in File Manager, very same menus, but you'll notice a couple of new things. If we go to the last tab here, you'll see here enable update street maps over cellular or Wi-Fi. So this is kind of a neat little new feature where you can hit this check mark and you don't have to load street maps on your operator's devices again. It'll just update those maps with where they're at. You'll also notice down here this enable satellite maps. So in the beta test, there's going to be a small portion of our beta testers that are actually going to be testing the satellite maps. When we get into the main view, we'll kind of take a look at it, but that's going to be a test to see how much data usage there is with a Google Map style street map, and um, what the ask will be, what customers, if they'll really request that or not. So, but that's going to be enabled by this check mark as well. But it takes for this beta test an additional subscription. So we'll be reaching out to specific sites to test that portion for us. Also here, the user profile and all that information is the exact same, but a really handy new feature here is the remote support tab right there on that front page. So for remote support, you're going to be able to just click right in there and do a remote support request right on that home page within 2 button clicks. You can remote in. So if you got a really new operator or something like that, you'll be able to direct them to the street or to the remote support very easily. So I think that'll be a really popular option. Um, so you'll notice, the home page, um, the street map icon in the lower left, that's going to be kind of our home page icon. So that's where we'll go to start jobs. We'll go to our machine configuration, our product configuration, all within that street map type view. You'll notice the street maps right here in the background. Those are our normal street maps. When I got into this unit yesterday, I clicked the update over cell or Wi-Fi. I did not have street maps for this particular region. Once I hit that, they kind of imported in, and then I had street maps for that area. So that was really nice. You also notice in the upper right that dashboard is still intact and has kind of the vital options for what's going on with the system up there. The machine configuration, it's going to be very similar to what we had before, except for you don't have to push the accordion to get to the machine configuration view. But if you add a new controller or anything like that, when the red boom pops up, that will actually populate right here in this icon, and you can touch it and go in and add that product controller or do any of that work right there from that page. The product configuration is going to work just like we had before. You can have multiple product configurations in here and just select those. Whatever product configuration you have selected is what you'll start your job with. So kind of the background of all the screens of the Viper4 are the exact same. It's just kind of this main navigation panel that has been definitely revamped and got a facelift. Also, just kind of a nice crisp, clean view. We'll go ahead and hit our UT down here. Now you've got nice big icons for your different object pools, and you can toggle between them. And it's just a nice big view for your UT if you're outside of a job, winterizing a machine this time of year or whatever. You can go to that UT right on this page, and you've got the nice big icons there on the left, and they'll just stack up there on that left-hand side, rather than having kind of the small little icons that we had before. Camera view, that's going to be the exact same as what we had before, being able to view up to 4 cameras, having that backup camera and all of that. That's going to be the exact same. And then another really neat thing here is in our configuration. So our node with the gear previously, this page will only show things that are applicable to your machine operation. So, previously you'd have a bunch of things for, smart tracks. If you had an RS1 machine, it'd be red. CAN product control. We have ISO product control on the machine, that'd be red. All of those things that are not on the machine, they will not show up on this page. So only things that are applicable to the machine that you're in will show up on this page. So right here, click the next tab. Everything's on there. Everything's working, or everything that's on the machine will light up green. Anything that we don't have as far as options will not show up on this page. So we'll go back here to the street maps view. So I do have a boundary for this job, and you'll notice kind of a new item here. This is going to be your start work tab. So this play button right here, that's going to be allow an operator to start a job right from a boundary on screen, and you can actually resume your last work from it as well. So you can filter by grower farm field, and then if you are partially done with the job, if you have a boundary, it'll show the outside boundary of the field, and then it'll kind of give a visualization of how much is left in the field with just the black display there. So that's kind of handy to tell, find the last job that you were in. It's going to pop that up, the last work that you were in, and it's going to show that visualization here in this lower right hand corner. So if we hit, and it'll give the job name that you were in. So last job was called Fall Fert for this Daryl's farm. And we could just hit resume here. We could also just start a new job, and that's going to use all of the pertinent information from the last job that we were in. Take all that information and create a new job, and we can give that job a name and everything. Or we have the ability to just resume that last job. Now for our customers, this is different than what they're normally used to. They're used to the page with all the jobs and everything like that on there. So we still have the job list view. So if we go here to this box right above the play button, There we have our job list. So all of our jobs will line up, instead of being from left to right, it's going to be a list from top to bottom. And then you can still go in here and filter by grower farm field if you want. If you want to clear the filters out, you can do all of that right in here, just like before. This is really handy. I'm going to show some features with machine to machine. If you're adding a machine into a job, you're in the second machine joining the field. The job will just populate in this list from that other machine, and then you can just join it like a traditional job. So we can come in here and resume the job.
Josh, I assume that the boundary, the AB lines, all of that stuff, that portion is also pulled in. Is that correct?
Yes, one thing you'll want to do is go in, if you're sharing, cloud sharing, you want to make sure that this is check marked green on both machines. That will share the boundary across and all of the information from the cloud job between the machines.
And that is the same. You don't get the obviously you don't get the application map when you hit start new, but the boundaries and AB lines also come in with that as well.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So in the actual job run page, you're going to see at the bottom of the page, we don't have our normal Viper4 screen, and then it pops to another screen that you'll select what view you're gonna that you want to view, if you want to do the overview or the widget view. We now have just the 3 boxes at the bottom of the page. So we've got our normal map view right here. We've got our overview. So if I just give the overview a tap, now we've got our overview, and then we tap the third bucket here, and that's going to give us our widget view. So it's really nice to be able to toggle through. The guys, spreading through the field, wants to see, okay, how much did John get done? You can just tap that screen, and it transitions very fast between them, where it kind of had said please wait in between before. Another thing that I found nice is our alarms. They've moved the alarm button over here to the left-hand side. So, it happened, guy's bouncing through the field and he's trying to hit his UT. He would accidentally hit the alarm button right here, and then it'd pop up the alarms over the screen. They've moved the alarms over here to the left-hand side, so it's kind of isolated away, and it's not in a group over here with these other items. So, um, to kind of get kind of lost in the congestion there. So it's kind of nice to have it kind of isolated over there, so you can really catch your eye with an alarm or anything like that popping up. You'll notice machine to machine widget. So if we go to our configuration for our screen, if we go in here to the system status, we actually now have a 2 machine, 4 machine, and a 6 machine status widget. So that's nice, because that 6 machine status widget would sometimes kind of take up a ton of real estate on the machine. And if you're only running 2 machines or 3 machines, you really didn't need to take up all that room. So that will be also really nice. The other thing you'll notice here is on the widget, you see 30.2 acres. So if we tap that, it's going to give our time. And so you can see the our widget there where you've got me and you've got your acres, and then you've got the other sprayer in there. You can see his 30.2 acres in the field. So as you're applying, those acres will count up for each machine, so you can kind of keep track on how much product you have left, and kind of time it out right, and kind of manage your machine to machine operations better that way. It's not going to tally down from your area remaining on each machine, but it'll give you an idea of how many acres each machine has applied in the field.
One question, Josh. These new
Yeah,
features, will they automatically come with this update, or is there a legacy view versus new view kind of option? Just curious.
yeah. So with 23.1 software, this will be what you'll get. So this is a transition. Some big things with this as well to highlight. This is a Viper 4 Plus only upgrade. So if you have customers with a traditional Viper 4 with the power button on the front of the page, um, it is not capable of any ROS software updates post 23.1. The only thing is if there would be some sort of a maintenance build or something like that we would have to do, then we would, create a new software. But going forward, Viper 4 Plus will be getting new software updates, and the Viper 4 will just get maintenance builds if they're necessary. So that's kind of a big one there. Um, the With that being said, it allows us to really take advantage of the full potential of the Viper 4 Plus. We've had to just because we had both displays, um, for so long, we had to cater the software to both. Well, the Viper 4 Plus, has a lot more horsepower built into it, so we're actually able to leverage a lot of cool new features just because we can leverage the horsepower of that screen.
And I presume that um, we have, from a service standpoint, they can't put 23.1 on an older Viper.
Correct. Correct. So I believe the last Viper 4 software will be that 22.2. Um, Another thing that we can do, this is kind of a big thing um, with the 23.1 software as well, is we have the ability to do multi-line um, guidance lines right inside of the Viper 4. So since 3.8 software, we've actually been able to use multi-line, which multi-line allows us to use a previous job's guidance paths in another job. So um, anywhere the machine went, it it records where the machine went. Anywhere the master apply switch was on, it will create a guidance line similar to last pass. That's what the file type is called, is a LP lines file. But you can use it with no coverage in the job. So let's say a prime example of this is you go out and you spray 30-inch soybeans with VSN. You want to come back in and spray fungicide and go down the exact same paths, um, or even like 15-inch beans. You ran over beans, but you just don't want to run over any more than you did the last time. You can actually reference the multi-line and go down the exact same paths. Or if you were in cotton and you use VSN to go down cotton rows, and then the cotton's completely canopied, but you still want to use those same exact paths, you can reference this multi-line to be able to do that. So to do it, we'll go ahead and go to load. And you'll notice at the top of the page, we have 3 icons. So the new icon is actually the multi-line selection icon. So you'll want to choose a job with coverage. Ideally, you'd do this, the job does have to be local to the field computer, but ideally you'd do this in the field, and you'd select that job and create the multi-line file there. So we'll hit our drop down, select fall FERT. I'm actually going to clear out my deal here. So then we just hit our check mark. And it'll say multi-line created and loaded. And then our as driven lines from our application will be there. Once we've loaded those multi-lines, we can just tap the very last icon on the right, which is like the arrow with the squiggly lines there. And we actually use this multi-line guidance to outline this field. So this is really handy, if you have a customer that, potentially used VSN to outline a field too, and you're in soybeans or something like that where we don't have the canopy solution, you can use this multi-line. So anytime you're in a job where you want to go down the exact same path as you went before, this is kind of an easy way to do controlled traffic. And the thing that's really handy with 23.1 software is we previously, in order to get these lines, we actually had to upload the job into the Slingshot portal, copy the multi-line file or the last pass line file out of the job, and then bring it back to the field computer via USB. And then we were able to go down these multi-lines. Now we can do that conversion process right in the Viper4. And as long as that file is local to the Viper4, then you're able to do that process right in the job. Now with this, the lines cannot be nudged or adjusted. So if you're doing an operation, you're going to want to have a corrected signal so that you don't have any drift of the lines or boundaries.
Hey Josh, how will this functionality work when you have like a cloud job like you do there? Will this machine be able to utilize the guidance lines from the other machine where it had already applied in the previous job?
So I believe it's only coverage from your machine that creates the multi-line.
Okay, that's what I
Yep.
suspected. I just wasn't sure. So
Yep. From what I've tried, that's what I've experienced is it's only coverage from your machine that creates the multi-line. Any other questions at all? Now, one thing you'll notice is for headland turning. So you can see incompatible guidance line down there in the lower left. You cannot use headland turning with the multi-line. Thank you for joining us today.